Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go onto the Rift for our second game of the day. This is going to be Enclave. Sorry, not Enclave. Nvision versus Demise. Wow, we're only one game in and my brain is fried.
You okay today, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yesterday clearly took its toll on me. New jungler for the side of Demise. Obviously, yesterday we did see Hankat, who isn't Hank.
Wait, did we?
Yeah, well, he kind of. He was on the game. He was in the game. I feel like it was a pretty rough one for him to start out on. And unfortunately for them, it doesn't get much easier because they are playing the second place team in the league right now in Nvision.
Yeah, the second or third strongest team, definitely depending on how you want to look at it. And yeah, it's not looking great because even after today, next week, they open up week 4 with Resolve. So it's looking tough for the Demise, but let's focus on today's game because, Nvision definitely, they've just come off the back of a loss, right? They did. Yeah. Was it yesterday they lost? So, Nvision.
To be fair, they lost to Resolve.
But exactly, they lost to Resolve. So I don't think there's too much worry on that front. Other than that, Nvision have been looking really, really strong. So a lot of work here, most likely to do for Demise. I think one of the big things definitely coming into this, as much as it seems a bit cliche to focus on, it has to be draft because Demise's drafts have been kind of shaky. I've not really made it much of a point so far, but I took a couple of minutes yesterday to go back over some of Demise's drafts, and they've been quite out there. So, there's definitely been a couple which have been quite creative. If you remember the game versus London where they had the Gragas, Ivan, or Orianna.
Yeah.
Solid draft. Even though they did fall behind in the early game, you could see the utility start to pull through. And I think, honestly, if Demise want to play that kind of game into Nvision, it could actually yield some results because Nvision typically as a team have been relatively slow, and they do like to play utility mages with a hyper carry in that bottom side, so it can equate to very slow-paced games in the early game from Nvision, which is obviously perfect for those kind of scaling comps. So I want to see what Demise actually come out with here today, because yesterday I wasn't particularly too impressed. Whilst, yes, okay, great, we got to saw Zig. We got to see Ziggs. We didn't get to see Ziggs for too long.
Yeah.
So
I'm
hoping for something.
I'd just like to see Demise kind of not play to what everyone else has been playing, because unfortunately for them, it hasn't been working so far. Get comfort. Ban away the really, really strong meta picks, and if your players feel comfortable, if someone like Rifty can be, Rifty can be trusted on a meta pick, but maybe for the likes of Xandra and Kuzi, get them something just comfortable. Like if they feel more comfortable on something that's maybe a little bit lower down the tier list, they might just be able to perform on it a little bit better. So we'll have to see if they're going to be able to go down that road or if they do stick to the meta. But personally, I think I'd like to see a bit of a shake-up draft, something with can catch Nvision with their trousers down. Really, I think that's the
only. Yeah, I think it's kind of the only way. I think Demise now, they're gonna have to really dig deep to find a win moving forward, because going into that, I almost kind of want to call it a super week moving forward because it's free game day week. But
yeah,
they're gonna open it up with Resolve. That's not the best start to a free day game week where your momentum can kind of feel crushed just because it's a loss. It doesn't even matter that it's to Resolve, right? You're still going out to play a game day to effectively lose, if that is the case, if Resolve come out swinging like they honestly have been. So I think picking up a win here can be really, really big for the mentality moving forward, because it does at least put that sort of seed of hope of, okay, we can win games on stage. We know that. We've done it now. It means it can be replicated.
Yeah. Well, it looks like teams are ready and we'll be getting into picks and bans as soon as possible. So I'm excited to see what's going to go down in this game. We've seen a lot from Nvision in the sense of they play a hyper carry for Spark. BB Muffin goes, I'm a support now. And then the enemy team, Ralph Wiggum, laughs, they're in danger. That's pretty much what happens. So far, I've seen the Pantheon banned away on the side of Nvision. We'll see what Demise look to take away for themselves.
Yeah, I wonder if Demise will take a page out of the Resolve book and go down the Lulu and the Seraphine bans, which first ban I think is potentially very telling. BB Muffin has honestly had so many strong performances, and the bans are kind of flipped at the moment. If you swap the nameplates, you would kind of think that Demise are on blue side and Nvision are on red side, because Nvision actually have the red side bans at the moment of Pantheon and Olaf. Though Pantheon is a little more flexible to both sides, Olaf is usually banned away on red. So we're going to see also the Kaiser removed away. So again, something that Nvision have kind of set up around. So really looking to at least sort of knock the foundations out of the typical Nvision playstyles. And now also going to see Talia removed away. And honestly, I think the final ban's probably just going to be Seraphine, and they don't care about the other champions like the Graves of the Hecarim. And there you go.
Graves is open, so I feel like we're going to see a trade between the Graves and the Hecarim here.
Yeah.
Most teams typically on the blue side do like to lock this Graves in as a first rotation. Over on the side of Demise, things like the Galio are open as well if they want to go for a Hecarim Galio or a Camille Galio. Yeah. We have seen quite a few of those in the first rotations. But like I said, in the last game, the Renekton is open. So if you want to pick that Camille up, you might have to worry about playing into a Hecarim. And yeah, it looks like even though some of the more meta AD carries have been left open, the Xayah is going to get locked in. We have seen a rising priority in the Xayah, but Xayah Hecarim going to be the Demise lock-in. And now it's over to Nvision. What do they want to take away in at this bot side?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what Nvision actually default to now. Whether Spark wants to pick up something like the Jhin to try and match the lane priority. Actually wants the Aphelios. I wonder if we'll just see the Thresh paired up with it. There you go. And I was going to allude, because the Hecarim is there, Demise may feel inclined to actually pick up the Rakan just for the full like dive threat, obviously with the Xayah. But Rakan is kind of in a weird spot where he's a little bit weak, but with Xayah he's still playable. But into Thresh you would maybe stray away from it, and the Nautilus lock-in says just that. So a little bit of point and click CC for that Aphelios can always go very far.
Yeah, I feel into a Thresh, the Rakan might be a little bit hard to navigate. So
yeah,
with the fact that you've got the even with the Lantern now, you can always make sure that Spark does get hit by that CC once the depth charge is available. So I like that pickup. Now we're looking into ban phase 2. Mid lane pool is starting to get pinched in the Yone and the Syndra, and Demise looking for their final ban to pair up with the Syndra. It's going to be the Orianna takeaway here, and we might just see a Victor ban from Nvision.
Yeah, they actually want Camille gone. Okay, I guess that kind of makes a little more sense. Though Demise would probably be more inclined to pick up Rifty's champion at R5, and just going to be a straight Galio blind pick from Demise here. So kind of just saying, all right, we're going to go forward. We don't care what you really pick up in the mid lane now with so many mid lane bans gone. We could see a BB Muffin special in the Zoe, because I don't think there's many champions up. Still, there is still the Victor's still there, I guess, but I think the Graves and the Zoe go together a little better, though the hover is there, so we may just see that be the lock-in, which I think is going to be tough to play into this Hecarim Galio dive, but we'll have to see how he does end up playing versus the aggressive team composition that Demise are putting together for themselves. And Aka's now likely to be on tank duty. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing just the blind pick on, though it is very risky into a player like Rifty. It does provide Nvision with the much needed engage that they are currently lacking. So yeah, we could just end up seeing that be the pick, but they want something a little more stable and self-sustaining in their Renekton pick instead. So we'll have to see what Rifty feels like he's going to throw down to challenge it, because there's
Gragas is open if
Gragas
they want to
is there, if they want
kind of neutralize the Renekton lane.
Gragas
so that might be the pickup here.
I think Gragas is probably the front runner. Rifty doesn't really play things like GP too often, which would probably be my next best sort of lock-in. As wow,
okay. That's Xandru is doing all of the work in this team.
Yeah, so, I already have kind of an early concern for the Demise draft. Not to be nitpicky, but if Xandru dies, there's not like a crazy amount of damage if Hankart doesn't get really accelerated in the game here. So
yeah,
we're gonna have to see. And honestly, to the composition that Nvision have, if it does make it to the late game, I do fear potentially that the Demise draft could fall to the wayside just because of all of the damage. But there is a lot of CC on this Demise draft, so if people do get, CC'd and sort of put in that bounce house combination, which Demise are running, it can be very deadly for this Nvision draft.
Well, Demise have locked themselves in a wombo combo. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. Even from behind, as long as they land everything, this could be a nasty team to fight into. But Nvision, they're a multi-pronged threat here. They've got the Victor, they've got the Aphelios. Killing one of them might be enough, but then you've also got the Graves you can mop up at the end of the fight. So you got the Renekton. He's going to be a real nuisance. And it's really going to be on Xandru to navigate these fights well. And my worry is, I think it's a fair point, is that Demise's bot lane haven't really been the best performing. And going up against a bot lane that has been incredibly well performing.
Well, one half. Spark's been doing pretty well. Longstaff has had mixed bag of results.
I think the thing about Longstaff is like he's had really good games or like
and
God, what's going on there kind of games.
But at the end of the day, Longstaff is a rookie, so it is his first split. So
yes,
you can't really fault him too hard. The kind of ways that he's been getting picked up, those kind of things just drop out the more games that you play on stage and in scrims. So, not trying to discredit him, he still needs a little more time to build up that experience, and he's been doing a good job nonetheless. Yeah. But yeah, like we say, the Nvision bottom side has still been the focus, regardless. Whereas Xandru, Kuzi, they've not been looking too great. So a lot of pressure being put on their shoulders, I feel, with this draft.
Yeah, it's definitely now time to put up or shut up for the side of Xandru and Kuzi. They have got a team comp built around them, and they are going up against one of the most dominating AD carries we've had in the scene, other than Yusa in the Spark. So, it's a real time to kind of show what you're worth and why you were picked up by this roster. I think we're in for a really, really good game as we take to the Rift for game number 2. Can Demise finally find a win here at the UKLC? Or will Nvision continue their streak? A bung up for all of the other teams that aren't resolved, close brackets.
Feels like an episode of Dragon Ball Z, like, will Demise find their first victory?
I never watched Dragon Ball Z.
Time. Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's all right.
As a kid, we had BBC One, BBC Two. Shout out to all our BBC viewers. And then the other 2 channels you get.
Yeah.
Stinky, because they're not broadcasting the UKLC.
True. Very true. Yeah, Dragon Ball is kind of hard to come up on in the early 2000s.
Yeah, you had to have a TV box to be able to watch Dragon Ball Z, at least in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very hard to find in the UK. But Demise, like we jokingly say, they are still looking for their first win. There have been signs of life, but they've been very far and few between. And we are going to be seeing Rifty pilot this Malphite, which I don't think we've seen him on too frequently in the UKLC. I do want to say during the full open, though it could have actually been the team playing against Demise. No, it was Rifty. I think Rifty pulled out Malphite in the full open qualifiers, which I know not many people would have been watching the open qualifiers. The broadcasts were, well, there was plenty of broadcasts for the open qualifiers of that tournament. But it's about the only other time I've seen him competitively play the Malphite. So we'll have to see how he plays it. And if memory serves me right, it was to a victory. So
just got to press R.
Success. Yeah, just got to press R.
Only Angel proved him that, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, maybe he's learned from only Angel. It's like, look, I can run it down versus Akaz. I can lose lane like how I'm kind of losing this trade right now, have no priority for 15 minutes. But then I press my R key on Spark and I've won the game. So
he's actually going to have a CS lead as well over Akaz as his wave crashes into his tower.
Yeah.
Akaz prioritizing the trading and the lane bullying as much as possible.
Yeah, Rifty's perfect CSing. 12 CS in the first 2 waves. Okay. There you go. As we've not focused much on the junglers in the opening acts, as both of them just opted in for full topside clears. Seems like Yuna and Hunk are in unison going for nearly full clears. Yuna, I think, has skipped out on his chicken camp for the time being. Actually, Yuna's quite slow. He's only now starting his chicken camp at 3 minutes and 7 seconds, which is really behind pace on Graves, I'd say. So not quite sure why that was the case. He could have maybe muddled up a camp and had it reset on him. It's the only reason I could think of as to why he's so far behind in tempo, as BB Muffin could be in trouble.
Yeah, BB Muffin's getting everything thrown onto him. The gravity field's not going to be enough as BB has to flash away. Pillar's going to take some damage on the return end, but BB getting caught out heavily there, having to burn the flash, and Pillar still has his, so Flash W could always spell a bit of a demise.
Ah.
I didn't even do that deliberately. I'm not even, not even joking. That was unintentional. I'm genius.
Well, BB Muffin so far up the lane that he actually manages to get lane ganked by Hecarim of all champions. But it's just good setup from Pillar, recognizing BB Muffin is a little too far forward. And it's just going to end up being a Skull Crab trade across the board. As Yuna's going to reset on the top side. He is actually behind one camp as Yuna picked up his first Krug spawn. So that Krug camp is going to actually be level 2. It's going to have a lot more XP front loaded into it. Whereas Yuna isn't going to have that luxury once he does eventually clear that first Krug respawn. Which is a thing, if you don't know. The first spawn of Krugs doesn't actually give the full front-loaded XP. It's gutted by, I want to say, about 50%.
Aka's actually missed his cannon there.
Oh, did it?
That's unlucky.
That's not good. Oh, hello, return gang.
Oh, no.
Now,
BB knows
he's a little too far back. Wait, there's 3 people! All right, well.
His pain. BB trying to get away from this one, but the flash comes in and actually trading the flash in a fight where he definitely should have done a lot quicker than that. Not awful for him, all things considered, but ultimately still does lose his life. Right now, probably all chatting. Can bot please SS?
Yeah, honestly, I think it just looked like Zandru and Kuzi. I don't have to hold this point because there's a TP even.
I think got the ghost on Sparks trying to buy some space. Here comes the hook. Here comes the flash. Demise. Bringing multiple people into this lane.
Yeah, Longstaff mistiming his flash. So he tried to drop the lantern to have Spark pick it up and then flash further towards the tower, but not actually flashing fast enough. And Spark ends up having to blow his own flash because of it anyway. So it's actually a pretty big bonus, though Yuna is going to be in the area to just make sure this wave comes in. And it looks like the priority is going to just be this dragon for Nvision. As they do get this wave crashed in. Demise shouldn't have too much in terms of an answer. There's no topside jungle camps, so Punkar isn't going to be able to get his hands on those. And all around, a pretty clean dragon pickup.
Considering the plays that led up to this, actually really clean dragon by Nvision. Just recognizing when Demise are on a respawn, that's going to net them an early dragon, which could result in an early soul, or if Demise keep the ganking up, might even slow down a soul. So nice pick up for them either way. And Ocean pretty nice in the laning phase as well, so a little bit extra.
Early Oceans definitely go the mileage, particularly in lanes like top, where Akaz and Rifty are likely going to be, well, buying heads by themselves for a while. As Rifty just dings level 6. It's going to have the ultimate available to him, though I don't expect to see any crazy solo kills come out of this lane from either side.
Has got the whip and is going to lose that trade. Thanks to the minion wave, mostly.
Oh no. Crocodile's losing to the rock. It's not ideal.
I don't remember the last time I saw a crocodile win a fight versus a rock.
True. Yeah, I think factually you're not wrong. Probably haven't seen a rock versus a crocodile. I wonder what the priority is going to be on the Herald if the top side has anything to do with it. Because Demise actually have a real nice wave crashing in here. And they, give or take, just have top lane priority, it seems like, on Rifty's kind of command. So could have actually been something to have thought about, as the ping is now going down onto this Herald, but it's not a full conjoined effort from all lanes. Oh, Rifty!
Done it!
All right, well, someone's gonna clip me saying I don't expect solo kills from this lane no more than 30 seconds ago, and Rifty, I don't know, Rifty must just have like the live feed of our audio or something.
That's Akaz saying, hold on, what's going on there?
That's Akaz. Did I just get solo killed by Malphite? Something must be going on.
We do have a quick settings issue.
Yeah.
Akaz is saying the color's off on his screen. He doesn't know why it's gone grey. Is this colorblind mode? So they're going to try and fix that. No, it's Who's it? It's Demise. It's on Demise's side. So just got to fix a quick issue in their settings and then be back onto the Rift. Nothing too impactful, nothing too long. So don't worry, it's not like yesterday.
No.
The world is already unfiring itself as we're going to be heading back into the game nice and soon. And yeah, honestly, just a solid solo kill from Rifty.
Yeah. Manages to cast all of his spells before Akka's actually able to cast the Dominus. So
he managed to press his buttons.
He pressed his buttons faster than Akka's pressed his buttons. And you know what, Hitbrain, that was the difference maker. As here we go, Demise gonna get their hands on the Herald. And Nvision actually responding appropriately. They're counter jungling the bottom side. So all in all, the standing gold in the immediate future is going to be in Nvision's favor because all of the jungle camps on that bottom side, they're worth about 300 gold, give or take. But of course, the Herald, the base value of Herald should get you with plates up as 320. So could end up being a even trade, but the XP is always going to be in Yuna's favor as we are going to get a replay of this top skirmish. And it's just Akka's, I don't know, he's just not respecting Rifty at all. And once Rifty's cooldowns come back up, he just says, okay, I'm going in. That's it. Doesn't get to cast Dominus. Dies whilst he's still in the air.
Yeah.
And Akka's just trading a little bit too hard. Does have the sustain advantage, but not really using it there. As here we are. Rock versus Croc.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Right now, the Rock is 1-0. He's winning.
We expected this to be a very one-sided game, and 10 minutes in, Demise are the ones who have the gold lead right now.
Yeah.
Only 1,000, but it is a gold lead nonetheless. Got a kill on to Hankat, their new jungler, and a kill onto Rifty.
Yeah, and that's also one of the members that we highlighted probably needed to get some kills too, the Hecarim Hankat. Because if Zandru isn't able to pull ahead in CS or he isn't fed resources, the only other real damage threat on this Demise draft is definitely the Hecarim. So at least has that gold, but he is down in CS at the moment. Not quite able to keep up with the pace of Yuna. Which is somewhat surprising. Well, Yuna did obviously get the full rotation of Hankat's jungle when he was on the Herald. So in that same vein, not too surprising at the same time. But it's certainly a matchup where Hecarim can farm a little bit faster than the Graves in the opening stages, but then very slowly tilts back into Graves' favor as somebody placed a new control ward to troll Yuna. Get that one up. But he is going to get the Skull Crab anyway, so he's not too fussed about it as Yuna searching for more jungle camps.
Just looking to farm up a storm. Do you know what Hankat actually means?
No, but I'm sure you're about to.
I got a message from him yesterday. It's Danish from male cat.
Male cat?
His summoner name is Male Cat. That's
well,
it. And
this is a 5-man
bit of action break out here. Spark's getting CC. Spark just in the bounce house. And this is just disgusting.
Akka's
as well. Akka's going to try and pop the Dominus, keeping himself alive for the moment as Rifty's underneath that tower. The tower shots are coming in. Akka's sustaining for as long as possible, and he loses his life. Oh, that was tragic.
Yeah, and now let's take a look at what the actual cost of this play is going to be from Demise, because there was a lot invested into the bottom side. They do have the Rift Herald, though, to drop onto the bottom side tower, so it is going to be likely just full tower going over to Zandru. There's another teleport coming in from Pillar. BB Muffin's going to find himself in a little bit of hurt. Oh, whole world of hurt. Oh my.
That's Galio, by the way. Base damage is pretty high right now. Throws down the ultimate, and everybody's coming forward. BB has to flash away. Scusi looking for the hook. Has not got the flash available. Dragon secured. First tower secured. And Demise. I thought this was going to be them getting stomped, but suddenly they're looking like something else. Let's have a little look at the trampoline that was set up underneath this tower.
Yeah, the Galio ultimate is the trampoline. You see the marking put down right here. Now all of a sudden, it's a bounce house for the unfortunates underneath the Nvision tower. And honestly, I mean, Akka's just feeling a little bit generous. Felt like he wanted to give over an extra 300 gold. I don't think you ever want to teleport to this scenario.
I counted 4 bounces.
You counted 4 bounces? Okay.
4 bounces in that. Not on the same target, but overall.
Yeah. Not bad. Not
I
bad
wish we had
from
smart
Demise.
stats. I'd love to know how much time Nvision spent with their feet on the ground. That's what I really want to know. I want to know how much time they spent on the ground and how much time they spent in the air.
Yeah, and observers flashing the gold on our screens for us, so we can take a little bit of a step back.
Uh-oh.
As a Rifty.
He has about... Oh, there it is.
Okay, there he is.
Flashless BB Muffin. Oh, no, this is so rough for BB.
Gonna be forced out, and this is Demise's strong. Hello?
This is the
Demise
Demise we thought. This is what we thought we were going to get. It took them 3 weeks and a day.
Okay, let's not get too excited because we've still got around 2/3 of a League of Legends match most likely to go. But going back to the gold point, we do see Rifty with well over 1,000 gold lead in the top side. Hunkot's fallen behind on Yuno, which is no real surprise when you take a look at the CS numbers, but keeping up in gold relevancy because of the kills and the assists. You do see Spark currently getting some free plates on the bottom side, so he's going to make amends for that gold deficit he finds himself into. Well, it's not really his issue when he's getting 5-man bottom sided. And the support's pretty much even in gold as BB's looking to get a little bit of revenge on Rifty, but and just blast cone out.
Seismic Shaft movement speed is...
Yeah, especially if you cast it on somebody with phase rush like BB has.
And the Q movement speed up as
And
well.
the Q movement speed, yeah. Which I don't think he's quite got the Evo yet, but...
Yes, good point,
working.
actually. He'll have his laser done. 33 of 100 towards his Q, which is typically the second one. They did change Gravity Field.
Yeah, the Gravity
It doesn't
Field...
suck in anymore, and I can't remember what it does.
It gives the spells a slow, so it used to make going all to the Andres a little bit better. But it only used to give the slow to the Q, like the cast, but not the zap. As Longstaff does his best to try and give his AD carry the cannon there. And then also at least someone got it. And then also it makes the laser slow for 20%. But it doesn't give it to damage over time spells, i.e. it doesn't give it to the ultimate. Otherwise that'd be a little bit oppressive. Though Victor's not quite felt the same ever since they nerfed Rylai's all those years ago. But they're trying, and Victor's at least back in the meta for now. As Hunkot's really struggling to hit the eye up there. Finally hit just as we go back on frame, but Herald being very unkind to him. As Yo, come on!
He's hit the eye! There we go.
Okay. He got there in the end. That is going to be the second Herald pickup for Demise. Is this the most objectives Demise have found in a game?
This is probably the most objectives they found in UKLC, to be honest, mate.
No, because the back end of UKLC last split, they were really
this split.
a frightening team. But this split, oh yeah, definitely.
We're up to 3 objectives. Well, 5 if you include the turrets.
Yeah, 5 include towers, as if this replay is there.
I'm sorry, Hankout. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the UKLC.
We mock you openly on air, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the kind of player that when he's playing like a raid in WoW or something, stands in the fire.
Yeah. So very happy as Demise can actually knock down this tier 1 tower if they so wish with this Herald, and Nvision are actually way out of position to defend this shove. So
Longstaff might just die. Oh no, okay, right.
Never mind. He's got that 6%. He just kind of felt like Kuzi was in the vicinity, and they're just going to take the tower without dropping the Herald. So
yeah, that's big. Got 30 seconds until this Cloud Drake comes up. Another Cloud Soul. And this is a team that loves that Cloud Soul. They're all built around their ultimates. Galio has a very long cooldown on his R, so being able to get 10% off it and potentially 30% off it is actually really impactful. Same for the Malphite as well. Basically being able to press R as much as possible is all he wants.
I have a question.
That's Christmas for Rifty.
I have a question. Have you ever seen a Hecarim with Cloud Soul?
Yes, it's unpleasant.
That's the right way to go. Hold on, BB Muffin's been freezing the way. I thought he was going to slow push out. Okay, thumbs up from me, BB. I like that. Recognizing they're not going to contest the dragon on the bottom side of the map, so they at least freeze away some resources on the top side as Rifty is just...
They got the Galio. Akers has to flash. Here comes the taunt. Rifty's tanking the tower for the moment. The rest of the team are coming in as the Justice Punch comes in for safety. Kuzi looking for the hook. Akers able to jump away. And before the tower got involved, they traded with each other, and Rifty took literally no damage.
Yeah. Akers yeah, just losing out. The Grievous Wounds from the Bramble Vest are doing a lot of work there as BB now finally slow pushing this wave out. Though with the cannon that he's avoiding the creeps now. It's going to push back out. So should just look to hard shove that next wave and probably get a reset. Could we get a gold toggle if you don't mind, observers? Because he's probably been up there for a while. 1.4 gold, 1.4k gold in inventory. So gonna just reset relatively soon as he is trying to stack up this wave quite substantially. I wonder if there's any reason behind it, if they're gonna try and make a play off the wave. Something to track because teams don't often play with side lanes like this, so always intrigues me when I do see it happen in the UKLC. But Demise, honestly, the gold lead's closed up a little bit.
Oh.
But
the coral reef is here, and that is not a saltwater alligator.
Hey, that's a good one, actually. I like that. As a Rifty, oh no. Yeah, dash away. These parts aren't safe for you. I wonder if is there like a Renekton skin that would maybe be suitable for the coral reef, or does he just have like loads of scary looking skins which have nothing to do with wildlife?
What has he got? He's got that galaxy one.
Yeah, he's got the galaxy one. Where did that
where he's using what looks like one of those Star Trek weapons.
Oh yeah.
He's got the cowboy one. He's got his frosted one. Definitely not coral reef. Obviously the toy one he's currently using.
Yeah, the toy one's cool. I like the toy one.
I guess the closest one you have is Lifeguard.
Oh,
like
right.
He's a lifeguard.
Okay. Yeah, Pool Pie Renekton. Yeah. It's got to be called Pool Pie Renekton.
I think that's the closest thing to anything that would be in saltwater.
Yeah. As Demise, honestly, moving in to get... This is a different Demise to what we've seen.
Very different. And Rifty's just shoving in this lane. Akers genuinely can't deal with this.
I'll give you a POV of Rifty comms right now. Me rock, me push wave, me make Herald crash tower. You can't stop me. Me rock.
He didn't take the tower, at least.
No. But it's a pretty large chunk, so he's still going to be happy with it. Demise, unfortunately...
Rifty had it, actually, now in hindsight. Why didn't Hankat have it?
No,
a bit of a miscommunication.
No. Hankat dropped it in base. I assume they just didn't have...
Oh, okay.
The time to actually make a play with it, so they just let it crash in the bottom side.
And honestly, even though Nvision did have a pretty poor start to this game, I'll give them this. They've been able to slow the pace down massively for themselves. And what that's actually accrued is BB Muffin with that freeze has got himself a slight CS lead over Pillar. There is a CS lead accruing for Spark. The gold from the kills will obviously somewhat kind of evaporate that lead, but they're not falling behind massively. I'd love to have a quick toggle of that gold once again, just to see where we are. So yeah, AD carry, it's a 700 gold lead. Mid, it's actually dead even pretty much. Yeah. So Nvision, honestly, good job considering you're into a 2-0-1 Xayah, and the gold's 700 apart from your AD carry. And Xandru needs to be careful. He's getting jumped onto. Does have the ulti to keep himself alive, and Rifty can make his way forward. Forces out the Featherstorm. Rifty slams in. The bounce house is on. Longstaff comes in for the hook. Onto the flash. Handcap pulls him back. They got the teleport coming forward. And the flank is here. Here comes Spark. Akers looking to try and make something happen, but he is bounced up and down. But still giving himself a life to the Gore Drinker. The hook lands onto the wrong ping here. And now Kuzi's getting chased as the Moonlight Vigil comes in and Akers secures the kill. Xandru going so low. The flash, the laser beam, and the flash out to safety. And Vision actually trade out even in that fight.
And this is what I wanted to say before this fight kicked off, is we were saying Nvision have been stabilizing the game really well as they start up the Baron, and honestly, they could look to take this. Hankat is in the area, but they're going to have numbers advantage, Nvision. This should actually be relatively free, but there's a double TP in the backside.
Yeah, looking for it. They've got so much damage to work with. Rifty's blinded for the moment. Pillar has the taunt, and look at the flanking position, but they're not going to pull it off. Looks like Nvision are going to be able to get away scot-free. They didn't feel comfortable without their Xayah there. And now Demise are picking Baron.
Oh, no. It's a coin flip of all coin flips. All right. I think if they do look to do it, it's definitely a little more favorable because those health bars chunked out. But honestly, Yuna's healed up because of the red buff. BB Muffin is honestly fine if he has a front line in front of him. Kuzi, though. Kuzi!
Kuzi's already probably dead here. It's just going to lose his life instantly. A Spark takes him out. The taunt's only going to land onto one. It's going to be support for support once again as the gravity field looks to lock members down, but they're not going to be able to get it. And Baron resets. Maybe now our teams will decide not to contest the Baron.
Yeah, and now the Dragon's up, so I wonder if that's going to be the next point of contention here. As Nvision, veering over back towards the Baron. Maybe fancying their chances, but...
Nah, there's wards in the pit.
Yeah, someone intelligent in the call quite clearly said, all right, guys, let's not flip the Baron again. Let's not do that. But I wanted to say, just before we got this very long string of action, that whilst, yes, Nvision have honestly stabilized the game quite well, another point of view you could look at it and say, honestly, Demise haven't been forcing as hard as they probably could have been, particularly around, realistically, Rifty, as we're going to get a replay here of how it all kicked off. As, honestly, it's just Zandru really greedy pathing. There's nothing else to really say about it. He's forced to blow the Feather Storm to dodge out on the collateral damage. And this is when we get the flash forward from Rifty to get all of the Bounce House almost down, but it only really lands onto the support of Nvision. And this is when Renekton TPs in, and I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe Akaz is feeling like making a donation, but it's just so much healing coming forward from the Koldameek and the Gore Drinker. It means he doesn't die. Kuzi almost commits too far forward. In fact, no, he does commit too far forward and dies for it. And Zandru fortunately flashes just in time to beat out the laser. And it all basically starts with a really greedy pathing from Zandru. Really unnecessary for him to path that way. Could have very easily just walked into the river and made it to the same location in almost the same amount of time. Cost his team a couple of kills and a whole bunch of shenanigans. The gold, however, remains relatively constant, and they do pick up the Cloud Dragon on the backside of it, so...
Yeah, and we're looking at Soul coming up soon as well for the side of Demise. 3 or 4 minutes until that comes up. And Cloud Soul, like I said, this is a team that uses the movement speed so effectively. As Hankat actually stunned up, hooked up, and he will be taken down, but they're throwing everything in. He uses stopwatch to keep himself alive. A couple of members knocked up, charging onto that backline. Hankat healing up for the moment. Zandru comes in forward with the Gale Force, and this is members just being cut down. Yuna, the only one standing, as Akaz actually has rejoined the Rift, and Rifty is in for so much hurt here. Getting chunked out as Akaz is taunted by Pillar. Rifty is just a madman being chased out, and he's going to look for a grand escape. The movement speed comes in and the blind is there, but the rest of his team will look to take the Baron. Rifty has everything chasing onto him, and he will lose his life. The shutdown for Yuna.
Shut down, but I mean, Demise on the Baron. Yuna's going to have to make his way over, but I think he's way too far out, and this is just going to be the Demise Baron picked up, potentially first Baron of the split. I think they probably would have snuck on away during the London exchange, as that was a game, but we are going to get a replay of this, and honestly, it's a pink ward, man. It's not that much gold, but he does have the stopwatch, and that buys enough time for this Galio Ultimate to come through, and Anka honestly feeling like he's going to die, just commits forward. Actually doesn't, and the Nautilus Ultimate is enough to lock down Spark for long enough for him to drop to all the ultimates. No flash available during that fight, and Rifty, I mean, man on a mission, doesn't know what backwards means. If this was a FPS game, it's just straight W key, nothing else. As he does eventually get chased down, but it's still a comedic affair. As there you go, Yuna picks up the shutdown. But Demise, I feel like the first time we can really say commanding lead for them. Map state is in their favor. They do have the Baron buff in pocket. Nvision really on the back foot here. They can't handle how much go power this Demise draft currently has. If they can't keep Spark or BB Muffin alive, fights really do just start to tilt heavily into Demise's favor, and here we are. Bottom side seems to be the play. They want to take the tower. They want to go for the dive.
Yeah, they're throwing everything in. The gravity field will lock them down, and BB walks forward, has to stopwatch to keep himself in for the moment. Pillar gets to the Justice Punch, and there's just too much burst. He can't survive this. BB Muffin with a massive misstep, and the fear, the fleas, everything layered in. Spark has to kill your guns, but they time out as the hook lands from Longstaff onto Rifty. Not really enough to do too much more here. And Spark's doing a lot of damage, but he will lose his base into the Baron Siege from Demise. And it's just Akaz and BB Muffin just overstepping a little bit too much. And now we're looking at potentially the closing of the game. Pillar has teleport. They've got the Baron buff to work with, and the death timers are still long enough. Hook's going to land onto Hanker for the moment. Spark is just trying to layer a little bit more out of a pillar.
Oh,
massive hook into the taunt, into the Featherstorm. The stopwatch is used. It's too little. It's too late. And Spark loses his life. Demise have done it. They have taken out Nvision and found their first win of the UKLC. Nvision are respawning way too slow. 28 minutes on the clock. 18 kills on the board. Demise, they're back in.
Demise say, predictions be damned. We're going to take our win today. And honestly, upset. But Demise, they played the game the way that they wanted to play it with this draft. It was a little bit slow in the mid game, and honestly, it did look like Nvision could potentially come back into it, right? I know, I see the production chat too.
Our producer, so at the beginning of the day, our producer went, are we going to get any stomps today? And Jamada went, no, there won't be any stomps today.
No.
He corrected himself.
Unironically,
went, actually, no, sorry. Nvision will stomp Demise, and now Demise has just stomped Nvision. Don't try and call it out. I know you're going to let you defend yourself, guys. We're going to put a quick break.
Let's go.
And when we're back, Jamada can probably try and defend himself. We'll see you in a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. Before Jamada even gets to open his mouth and try and defend himself for the stuff he said earlier, I'm going to bring Lorx in for an interview. How's it going, Lorx? You right?
Yeah, I'm really good.
I bet you feel really, really good. I mean, what was it like in the camp? Were you a bunch of unhappy campers coming into this week, or have things still been relatively positive? And how much did the mood shift after that Nexus exploded?
To be honest, we've all tried to sort of remain positive throughout. We've had some issues. We weren't playing to our potential, and then some of the drafts are set up to fail pretty much. But we got a easy to execute draft today. We know how to play around objectives. We knew what Nvision wanted to do, so everyone's like in good spirits. We're just happy to get the first one on the board.
Yeah, I think that's grabbing the first win. I think we said it a lot as the losses kind of kept on rolling in. Getting that first win, especially going into next week, it's super important. I want to ask you in particular, how are Zandra and Kuzi doing? Just because the two biggest rookies on the roster. Of course, you do have Pillar there, but Pillar's been sort of floating around tier 3 for a while. Whereas Zandra is his first split here in the UK. It's Kuzi's first split in the UK. Zandra's outright first split. How's working with them been and sort of nurturing them?
Yeah, they're both really hardworking players. That's one of the things when we're going through the roster selection that we found with Zandra and Cozy. Just the amount of hours they're willing to put into the game to learn matchups. Like, I remember, when it was pretty much just Alistair Leona being played, I think Cozy watched so many hours of the VODs just to improve his own knowledge. So working with them is really easy. They just put in a ton of effort, and I'm glad that we've finally shown a good performance and we've shown what we're capable of.
So we haven't had a chance to speak to you at all, because unfortunately I haven't been able to pick your phone up. So I want to know what's been the key thing you've been working on for the last 3 weeks? What's been the big development point for this roster?
I think generally laning phase, we've had some errors, but I've always been confident in that. It's mainly the objective setup. We found in the early games we were just handing over way too many free objectives. We weren't setting up vision properly to get good flank wards and points like that. But we put in a lot of effort into setting up the objectives, setting up dives, as you saw in today's game. So again, it's nice to see it finally come to fruition and have some success with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, congratulations on finally getting yourself a win. No one beats Demise 6 times in a row, and hopefully we get a bunch more wins out of you. We get to speak to you a little bit more. Speak to you later, mate. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
And Jamada, I'll finally let you open your mouth and try and defend yourself. Let's talk a little bit about that game, and let's bring up your drawing board clip for you to talk about your favorite play from that victory.
Yeah, so it's actually the start of what could have been a very interesting series of events. So this is just Demise actually doing a really good job of using the lane prior. You can see Longstaff and, it's Graves and Aphelios on the minimap here, catching this wave, which was just shoved in by this party right here, Zandra and Kuzi, with Pillar coming back out onto the map in support and Hankat leading the charge into the area of the Nvision jungle, as I'm trying to get the clip to play. There we go. And we're just seeing clearing out vision, really nice usage of time there. And then Zandru just kind of decides to path in this way. And there's no real reason for it, because you can see his team have fully made the rotation into the jungle to either, break Baby Muffin's freeze, which he'd been holding for a really long time, or just rotate up and then back out and then towards mid, as Rifty could have maybe caught this wave as he's made the rotation up from the bottom side of the map. However, this is the pathing that Zandru opts to take. And it's something that we do actually see a lot from newer players, rookie players, a little bit of disrespect on pathing. It's very common. And it does kind of almost cost Demise, it does cost Demise kind of this fight. But we just see the immediate collapse of this party clearing vision, and Rifty just says, nah, that's my rookie AD carry, buddy. And presses his R key, presses flash, and he just misses out on Una, but he does hit Longstaff, and the pylon does come through, but it only really lands, you can see, onto Longstaff, who dies. And at this point, it's like, okay, we can retreat, but then the Nvision TP comes down. And I'm starting to think, okay, is this another donation from Akers? Because this is a pretty audacious TP. TPing behind 5 members is it's pretty risky. But Renekton on this patch is obviously a very strong champion. You're going to see he TPs in on full HP. He starts to get bursted down. And the health bars are a little too clustered, but you can see he just doesn't really lose all of his HP. Aka's diving out makes Cozy commit forward with the dredge line, and he misses out on Aka's. And at this point, Demise now have to be in full retreat because now it's Nvision's turn. Because Demise missed out on the opportunity to re-engage, it's Nvision's turn to turn the fight back in their favor. And they just begin to run Demise out of the mid lane. Xandru just about manages to flash out, you see there, away from the laser. And this could have been a very bad turn of events for Nvision if they didn't have those double teleports up and available, because that very easily could have just been an Nvision Baron off the back of that fight.
Yeah, for the side of Demise, they just kind of had a goon squad. That was what it was. They just had the boys walking around looking for a fight constantly, and worked out for them. Honestly, that dog park comp was really, really well executed. I do want to note that is it Renekton that's strong, or is it Gore Drinker that's strong? That's the question.
Well, look, Renekton hit like a 4-man queue plus Gore Drinker. If Gore Drinker wasn't in the game, then sure, he probably would have died. But yeah, it's Gore Drinker.
Yeah, you heard it first. Gore Drinker's a broken item. Now, guys, we're going to throw to a quick break. And when we're back with Barrage versus MNN. This is another team, two teams that are fairly close in the standings. I mean, everyone's close in the standings, but this one could really actually shake things up. So we'll be back with that game after this break. See you in a second.